Hello and welcome to episode 150 of How to Survive. My name's Chris and joining me as ever is Joe.
Hi there. Some call me Toby, but I gave him many names, and the best one to use is probably Joe.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about this week's film, Joe.
Okay.
Andrew Barker from Variety says, there may well be new and novel ways to spark audience shivers, but this series clearly has neither the patience nor the inclination to look for them anymore. Robert Kocher from Flickering Myth says, one of the worst films of the year. Sonny Bunch from Washington Free Beacon says, Paranormal Activity's shtick has clearly run its course. Rohan Naha from the Hindustan Times says, this movie can go to hell. 0.5 stars. Daniel Gelb from All Movies says, an unimaginative and tedious mess. Hugo Hernandez Valdivia from Cinexcepcion says, one of the most empty films ever. Roger Moore from Movie Nation says, the most shocking thing about Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension is that 4 hacks fought to have their names listed in the credits under screenplay. Alonso Duraldi from The Wrap says, Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension feels like the last wheeze of a played out series. Mike McCahill from The Guardian says, it's a test of one's tolerance for watching predominantly empty frames in the hope something will jolt us from the mounting tedium. Peter Subshinsky from RogerEbert.com calls it a load of hooey that lacks legitimate scares or basic narrative clarity. Joe Sherville from How to Survive says,
A lot of those reviews sound like they could be about our podcast. Run its course. They need a new take on it. They've lost interest.
Well, 150 plus episodes in.
Yeah.
Maybe they're right. This week's film is Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension, the 6th and final Paranormal Activity movie to date, which of course means that it's the final one of our franchise run on the Paranormal Activity films. How does that make you feel, Joe?
Relieved. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet. We've got about 50 minutes of discussion to get through.
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to wash our hands of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. Of Katie.
Yeah.
Of Christy.
Oh,
of
those
Toby.
guys. Those old guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's soul sapping.
Yeah.
It? Really.
And if you haven't seen Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension, but want to check it out spoiler-free ahead of this week's podcast, now's your last chance to do so. We watched it on Netflix, where it's available until the 29th of June in the UK.
Wait, it's been taken out, is it?
Yeah.
Why?
So make sure you run out and see it. Run in and see it. It might be gone by the time you listen to it.
It's been removed by popular demand.
Yeah, removed by popular demand. Very good. But this podcast will be chock full of spoilers, as you will well know if you've listened to any of the previous 149 episodes of How to Survive.
Or bonus episodes.
Yeah. So without further ado, Joe, for the very last time, it's time for some Paranormal Activity.
Katie, Christy, I want you to concentrate.
Concentrate. I need you to concentrate.
She's like in some sort of like trance state or something. They're inducing a trance in it.
Where'd you get this?
From a box of like 80 VHS tapes the old homeowners left in the basement.
This tape is like 20 years old.
Tell me what you see.
I think I see 2 men. What are your names?
Ryan. Mike.
We're the Fleege brothers.
Brothers.
Daddy, I can't sleep.
What's going on?
I hear noises in my room.
You hear noises in your room? Okay, well, Daddy will go up and make sure everything's...
Bless you.
What the hell? Did you see that?
We gotta find more of those tapes.
Look at this camera.
And there's like obviously something going on here.
The film opens where Paranormal Activity 3 ends, as Dennis is killed by a mysterious invisible force.
Like most of the 6th in a series, it starts after the 3rd one.
Yeah, that took place in the 1980s. So, yeah. Grandma Lois takes Christy and Katie, if you remember them, upstairs, and this time the camera follows them, where it shows a mysterious man talking to them about Toby and how the girls will help him find another girl. So that must have been a creative decision taken by the people who combined who compiled the found footage when Paramount released the Paranormal Activity 3, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they must have said, well, we'll save the rest of this interesting footage,
Yeah.
which shows this creepy man.
Was Paranormal Activity 3, was that the last one that used the Paramount intertitles?
I think they might have abandoned that by that point
Already?
already. Yeah. 25 years later, Ryan and Emily Fleege,
Yeah, one of them.
Ryan and Emily live with their 6-year-old daughter Leela and have Ryan's brother Mike staying over for Christmas along with friend Skylar. Skylar notices Leela is talking to an imaginary friend named Toby, Joe.
We all love him.
Yeah,
Good to see him back.
yeah, exactly. Ryan finds a box of old VHS tapes dating from between 1988 and 1992, as well as a modified video camera. The tapes are those of Dennis from Paranormal Activity 3 and chronicle those events, as well as the events following that film, in which the mysterious man seems to be training Christy to hone her supernatural abilities. As they watch the tapes, it becomes apparent that Christy can see Mike and Ryan, as well as Leela in her bedroom, despite the fact that these VHS tapes are 25 years old. At one point, Leela sneezes, and Christy, on the tape, says, "Bless you,"
Coincidence.
in what is really one of the most insulting scenes I've ever seen in a film.
What? Someone on a tape saying bless you to someone who sneezes watching the tape?
Yeah.
Whilst that's all being filmed?
Yeah. And then they film them watching
Yeah.
that back as well.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
3 layers of found footage. Joe.
Yeah. And the best bit of that is, like, just a quick question, right?
Yeah.
Because now, did they just happen to time the girl seeing through time? Is that just really, really good timing? Or is
on
it
the,
actually
on the part of who?
So they're watching a videotape,
Yeah.
not a live stream.
Yes.
So that can only mean that they're watching a video of her seeing 25 years into the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly 25 years in the future.
Yeah.
Is that, you
Yeah.
okay with that, you?
No, I'm not. Of course I'm not. That's just what the film is suggesting.
You're a journalist, not a
I'm just
not
reporting
a fan.
facts.
Yeah.
When using the old camera, Ryan intermittently captures strange black shapes and, eventually, what appear to be spiritual beings. He sets up that camera, as well as 2 of his own, at night to capture any activity of a paranormal nature, and sure enough, the paranormal activity suddenly gets substantially worse,
Yeah.
with Leela showing signs of possession and black spirit beings invisible to the naked eye attacking Skylar and the others. Outside the house, the family find a concrete slab with Christy and Katie 1987 etched into it. What could it mean? And realise after
How did that get there?
after some Googling that their house was built on the same land as Christy and Katie's house from Paranormal Activity 3, which burned down in 1992. They also realise that Katie, the real estate agent that sold them the house on a great deal, was not in fact a real estate agent at all. Leela draws mysterious symbols on her wall, which the family discover, after some more Googling, are connected to a coven called the Midwives.
You say after some Googling.
Yeah.
Basically, they're not even shown before, what's the guy's name?
Ryan.
Ryan walks in the room with them on a piece of paper and says, "Hey, I found these symbols.
Yeah.
They're related to the midwives."
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Joe. How do you Google a symbol?
Reverse image search. Maybe. I don't know, mate. What do I know?
They discover that the symbols are connected to a coven called the Midwives, who killed a family in Nevada related to a boy named Hunter, who was, for plot reasons, born on the same day as Leela, and the cult require Leela's blood to finish a ritual that will give Toby physical form.
What's that got to do with Hunter?
One of the tapes shows present-day Leela with Christy, Katie, and Hunter in 1992, years before she was born. Spooky.
Yeah.
One night, at the behest of Toby, Leela opens a gateway up in her bedroom wall around the mysterious symbols and ventures inside. Fearing a possession, the family call a priest named Father Todd, who Leela bites. Father Todd later returns and attempts to trap the demon using a ritual, but this goes badly wrong, and Father Todd, Mike, Skylar, and Ryan are all killed by the demon.
They're all, like, just to confirm, they appear to be attacked by tentacles. Would you call them tentacles?
Yeah, it's. I suppose it's the mysterious invisible force that we've been seeing
Yeah.
throughout the franchise, but you can see it because of the special video camera, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But what we now see is that it has tentacles.
Yeah,
Or like creepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Running to Leela's room, Emily follows Leela into the gateway in her wall and finds herself in the 1992 version of the house from Paranormal Activity 3. There, she and Leela are confronted by a slightly older Christy and Katie, as well as the now fully formed Toby. Despite her pleas, Toby wrings Emily's neck and departs with Leela, Christy, and Katie. With that, the camera, which has been recording for an indeterminate and interminable length of time, finally cuts to black, bringing a close to the Paranormal Activity franchise.
Yeah, a beloved franchise.
Yeah. I don't know how much you know about the Ghost Dimension, Joe.
About the movie or the Ghost Dimension itself?
The movie.
Okay.
Would you like a little bit of information about it?
Please, yeah.
So the film was originally slated for October 25th, 2013.
Okay.
And was then delayed to October 2014.
Okay.
On September 17th, 2014, it was announced the film would be subtitled The Ghost Dimension and that it was set to be released on March 13th, 2015.
Okay.
On January 27th, 2015, Paramount Pictures announced that it had pushed back the release date to October 23rd, 2015. Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension cost $10 million compared to Paranormal Activity's budget of $15,000 and grossed $78 million compared to the original's $193 million. And that, in a very real sense, is Paranormal Activity The Ghost Dimension.
Oh, man.
Now,
that is
Joe,
life imitating art, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, here's the magic question for you. Is it any good?
No.
Thank you for joining us for episode 150.
It's the worst of the lot. And since the first one, it has been pretty much the lowest bar you could imagine. I mean, we used to watch the Friday the 13th franchise. That was the franchise we did before this one.
Yeah.
And we would, say jokingly that it's the worst film we've ever seen week after week. But at least those had some joy in them. There was something to say about them.
Yeah.
I feel like this is, like, there's even less than normal happening on screen, right? Because traditionally in a Paranormal Activity film, you'd have a static image of a room, and then for like a minute, and then there'd be a low rumble on the soundtrack, and then a lamp would fall over.
Yeah.
And you'd go,
oh.
Yeah.
That was some Paranormal Activity that I just saw.
But now they haven't even got the lamp. They've got a CGI overlay, which looks like the most basic After Effects that they could afford.
Yeah, it really doesn't look great.
Yeah, like some cartoony oil dripping from a patch in the ceiling. But it doesn't interact with anyone or anything in the room because the room's obviously empty and it was shot on like a set when no one was there.
Yeah. The original films, as you said, the lamp tipping over wouldn't be nearly as compelling if like you could see the oil figure going over to the lamp and then just tipping the lamp over and then walking off again, which is basically what happens in this film.
It's sort of, you start by seeing like a heat wave, you see like look above a car on a hot day and you see like a ripple.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that in like one part of the room and you're like, ooh.
It looks like some sort of ghost dimension.
Yeah, like here's a 2-minute scene where someone tests a series of light switches and realizes that under certain lighting, a shadow appears to move in the room. And now here's a scene where 2 people walk around some shrubs and then some black lines appear very suddenly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the film, isn't it? And then at the end, then
it's like 5 minutes of hysterical screaming at the end, and then the film ends, as does the franchise.
Are they making any more?
I mean, I'm sure it's being
Fans are
kicked
begging
around.
for it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you in that I think this is a low point in the franchise.
Do you think they had a plan to make more, but were like, no, this is shit now?
Well, I think what happened was this was a direct sequel to Paranormal Activity 4, and then I presume the response to Paranormal Activity 4 was so wretched that they shit canned the movie for 2 years, made the marked ones, and is there another one?
There's 5 in the marked ones.
Yeah.
Is
Made
5 the one with the girl on Skype?
No, hang on, that's 4. So Paranormal Activity 4 is the one with the girl.
Yeah.
Then there's
Then
the
there's the
marked
marked ones.
So they made. I think basically they put the franchise in a holding pattern.
Right.
They probably got a script which was called like Spanish Witch Boy or something, and put like Paranormal Activity at the front of
Changed
it.
the word demon to Toby.
Right,
And you're
yeah.
laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck a shot a new scene that had some creepy girls in it.
Yeah.
And that was it. So that's what I assume has happened.
Yeah, it does make
because
sense.
also the action and stuff in this one is a much lower register, I think, to the ending of the previous one, which had that giant shootout, which then culminated in the house of the original film, which feels like a much more natural, like, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, but like it would round off the series in a much, more elaborate way than this film does.
Because you know what's going to happen. Because you've seen that twist. You now know, well, obviously they're just going to end up back in that place.
Right, yeah.
I remember when we started 4, that was the reason it was so different. It was a new family. It was because they wanted to give the illusion that it could happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And I say illusion because it only happens, like all this paranormal activity happens to maybe 12 people who all know each other anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like it can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone who is in this like devious plan that someone's set up. Like it's
there's a
it's
lot
not
of,
scary because you can't put yourself in it.
No, there's a lot of problems with this film. You might say it's a problem that I was basically screaming who is filming this and why within 30 seconds of the movie starting.
Right.
I think it's a bold move to front load your movie with like 3 unbroken minutes of boring exposition before the title has even come up.
Which part is just like
the cult leader man,
right?
Who we've never seen before and is never seen in the film. Aside from in old videotapes.
Yeah.
Maybe he was supposed to be the antagonist of Paranormal Activity 7. We'll never know.
I thought he was supposed to be Toby. I saw him and thought, well, that could be Toby.
Yeah.
No, just the guy.
Just a man.
Who is in the Coven of Witches, who are all women. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Why didn't the grandma doing that?
The midwives.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Why don't have the grandmother do that exact role and you made it about women?
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But let me tell you, because it dawned on me about halfway through this film, the major problem with this whole enterprise as it is now, right?
Just one.
Yeah. Well, there are lots of problems, but this is the main core problem, right? And it links back into something that we were talking about way back in Paranormal Activity, when we were talking about how this purports to be real footage,
right?
But it's been like obviously mediated by an entertainment company.
Yeah, this counts under the genre of found footage,
right? And so, what is the premise of found footage from a horror genre perspective, right? What makes found footage scary?
So the idea would be you found it, and an event happened which you would otherwise not have known about.
Yeah.
And these people in it would have died alone, and you'd never found their bodies if not for the fact you've happened to found this VHS tape.
Yeah, and the crucial thing about it, and the reason, for example, the Blair Witch Project was such a smash hit, is that this has been found by someone in your world, right? So someone in this world has found this footage. Okay, that's what makes found footage scary.
And a lot of the Blair Witch marketing was about giving the impression that it really was found.
Yeah, and the people in it were missing, and all those sorts of things, right? Okay, so found footage generally in the Paranormal Activity series in particular is predicated on existing within the real world, right? That's the only reason why horror in this context works in any capacity.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's just like say lamps falling over, right?
Yeah.
But whereas when it's found footage, you can be like, oh look, this is like hitherto unseen footage of ghosts that prove ghosts exist, right?
I think in Paranormal Activity 1,
Mm.
you could watch that and up until maybe the last 3 seconds think this is maybe this is real.
Yeah, maybe
Right?
it's a snuff film,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So this film is set in 2013,
Yes.
right? Where that's the year where the family find the tapes of Christy and Katie.
Yeah, they find the found footage.
Yeah. Okay. Paranormal Activity 3 was released in 2011.
Yeah.
2 years before when this movie is set. So if this film exists, if this footage exists in the real world, they'd put the tapes in and go, that's weird, we've got VHS copies of Paranormal Activity 3.
Right.
Paranormal Activity 3 made $207 million, right? It is like an extraordinarily successful piece of media, right?
Yeah.
The house they live in would be a ghost spotter destination.
Yeah.
Like people would be turning up there all the time.
Right. Like they visit like the house where Halloween was shot. and
Right,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah. But like if this is like, if we're to believe that this is all within the real world and this is all real, as the idea of found footage and as the idea of found footage would like to have us believe, then people would be like turning up. You know, you'd have those like real spooky story TV shows turning up, right? There's no way they would not know that where the place they are living was the location of this astronomically famous film.
Yeah.
Right? If they Googled Christy and Katie, it would come up with the synopsis of Paranormal Activity 3, right? The only...
So are you saying that basically... Because I remember one of the problems with the first film you had with it was that it was edited, right? And it looked like Paramount Pictures, or whoever it was, had edited the film and taken bits out and put bits together. Because it's released with permission of Paramount Pictures.
No, it's released with the permission of the families, right?
By Paramount Pictures.
Yeah. So so the families bereft have gone to like Paramount Pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
And gone, listen, our loved ones died in this awful event.
Yeah.
We need to get the word out that Paranormal Activity is real.
Yeah.
Right?
And they've gone there, fine. We'll make it tasteful.
Yeah. And we'll donate the profits to a charity of your choice or something like that. Right. Let's say we believe that that's the world in which all this exists. Right. The fact that these people in 2013 know nothing about the Paranormal Activity franchise, right, or these documentaries that have been released, however you want to frame it, right, that all means that all of this whole franchise is taking place in a universe that is separate from our own, right, which means that it's taking place in a universe where ghosts might exist, in which case the whole idea of it being found footage and like, oh, we found this spooky thing and it could happen to you falls apart completely because it can't happen to you because it's in a totally different universe, a different dimension, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's
not even paranormal. It's normal there.
That's just like it's meaningless now.
Yeah.
It's fallen to pieces. It's paper thin and it's weightless.
Yeah, I agree.
That dawned on me about halfway through the film, and I was just like, well, that is the shining problem at the center of this film. Maybe if they'd released it in 2014, when it was
but even then, even if you were in this world, you'd know whether the film, like, if you bought a house and they'd shot Paranormal Activity 3 there, you'd be like, oh, cool, they shot Paranormal Activity 3 in my house.
Yeah. I mean, the house is no longer there, though, Joe, because their house has been built on it. Yeah. And the house burned down in 1992.
In the not Paranormal Activity, in this world that we live in.
Yeah.
The one without the Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
You'd know, like, even if it was the house next door, you'd know the shooting spots. It would increase the value of the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, clearly they want us to believe that this is all like real documentary footage and everything. That's the whole point of it being found footage.
Yeah.
But it's nonsense.
I'd like to double down on your problem with it.
Okay.
So you're basically saying that it can't work as found footage?
But I'm just saying it means it's like, it's obviously not scary because it can't happen to any of us because this exists in a separate reality.
Right. I see what you mean.
This is the problem with it becoming too like self-reflexive.
Yeah.
Because it can't coexist with its own
mythology,
and its own like the meta nature of everything that's come before it.
Yeah. Because are we meant to be people in our world watching a documentary like the first one was supposed to be? Or are you meant to be someone in that universe watching a documentary?
Yeah.
Or are you meant to be just watching a movie play out now? Where are we at? Because in this movie, we have what is ostensibly, if this is still found footage, which it is because it's shot on handheld cameras, right?
Yeah.
We have found footage showing them finding previously unfound found footage.
Yeah.
Right? Which appears not to have been lost so much as left.
Yeah.
Right? It's been given to them.
Yeah.
Which means it's given footage or received footage. So it's not found.
Yeah.
It's received when it's meant to be seen.
Yeah. So it's now like a design. It's them watching the footage is the result of someone or something's design, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no longer a tape that you found in a cabin in the woods. It's a tape that was posted to you that has your name on it.
Yeah. Oh, because a demon wanted you to see it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, speaking of the found footage elements, Joe,
Mm.
there've been a number of times throughout the series that they've tried to liven it up, tried to do something a bit interesting with it. 'Cause- So, in Paranormal Activity 1, it was very simple. One camera, one location, all that sort of thing.
Yes.
Paranormal Activity 2, you had the sort of security camera footage
Oh, yeah.
of all around the house. Paranormal Activity 3,
Oscillating camera.
yeah.
Who could
on
forget?
on the fan, that was good. And also the fact that the cameraman bankrupted himself by going through so many tapes,
Yeah.
presumably.
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity 4 had all the computers, laptops, phones,
Xbox
Skype
Connect.
calls. Well, yeah, Xbox Connect, all of those sorts of things. Marked ones was like, kids running around with filming stuff on their phones.
We had a GoPro in that one.
We did that.
Underused.
It went away. Aside from being used to,
A spy on a naked woman.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we come to this one, which has the big, revelatory idea for this one is to put a grainy filter over the found footage to make it even more frustrating to watch.
Yeah. Well, a grainy filter followed by another overlay which has some wax moving around the screen.
Yeah, the like when it's sort of like amorphous, like energy cloud.
Yeah.
That's like borderline interesting until he's like dipping the camera into it, going like, "Oh, it sounds like I'm underwater when I'm in it."
Yeah.
It's like, what have you got headphones on? Why
Yeah.
would you have headphones on?
Doesn't have headphones on, does he?
No,
No.
yeah, like
He's not got a boom mic or anything. It's
you
yeah.
would. How would you be able to know that the sound went that way when you?
Because,
It doesn't make any sense.
no, because you can hear it, can't he? You can hear it because you put the camera in. They can hear it. That's how it works, mate. Because when
Yeah.
you the visual thing capturing the images, right?
Yeah,
Is also capturing sound,
yeah.
and you can hear that, can't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, definitely. As you said, there's found footage within found footage.
Yeah.
The one time that pays off, and there's like a little creepy moment, is when Leela is describing the girl's bedroom, and she's saying there's a tent, there's a bird hanging over the closet door.
Yeah.
Right. That's creepy until, and this is like a continuous problem within the film, until they go, "Oh man, she's describing Leela's bedroom. The bird, the tent, that's Leela's bedroom she's describing.
Yeah.
That's what she's describing, man.
What's she describing?
She's describing Leela's bedroom, man. The bird, the tent on the floor. That's Leela's bedroom.
It's whose bedroom?
It's Leela's bedroom. My daughter Leela, who lives upstairs in this house that we're in now.
She's describing that.
She's describing it, but it's on the tape that's 25 years old, man. It's not a joke, man. I'm not high. She's describing Leela's bedroom. It's like they can't just let anything lie. Like it's just like they could have just had that on in the background or something that.
And they don't
And
notice.
and it's just like, oh, that's creepy if you notice it. But no, it's like you have to have 5 minutes of them rewinding the tape and going, oh, she's saying like Bloody Mary in reverse. Why is she saying it in reverse?
How do you know that?
Like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, they can't let anything lie. It's frustrating to watch.
It's not good storytelling. It's explained thoroughly to the point of boredom. Don't tell.
Yeah. Then they have they have the cult grooming tapes, as I would call them,
Yeah.
which are an interesting premise, I would say.
Yes.
Starring the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Actually, yeah, Jeff Bridges.
No, of course it's not.
Yeah.
But like the thing with them though is that there's like an uncomfortable, like unseemly, distasteful element to a grown adult man grooming two children to marry a male spectral presence.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas when it's the women, it's like, oh, that's witchcraft.
Yeah.
You can kind of put that in the cartoony genre of, that's what witches do.
Right.
When it's a man who's like, oh no, you know what?
You've got to be a good girl for Toby and all that. Like,
it's weird.
It's creepy and
Yeah.
horrible.
Yes.
And then, of course, Joe, this was the first and last Paranormal Activity movie to be in 3D.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I was blown away by that at the end when the hand appeared to grab at the screen.
Yeah. Telltale sign of 3D that's been, crowbarred in. We didn't get to see it in 3D. Much to our disappointment.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how nauseating and distracting the 3D effects would be on top of the already annoying found footage, shaky camera, wheeling it around, running around with it in your hands, all that sort of stuff.
It's awful. You know what? This is like they make a joke about them. Like, why don't you put the camera down?
Yeah.
Don't they? Because she's running away. Everyone's dead. And she drops the camera and she's, I've dropped the camera. Right. And he's like, oh, just leave it. And she picks it up. But that doesn't excuse it.
No.
Being aware of the.
No, yeah, exactly. The highlighting annoying tropes
doesn't excuse them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just go, oh, yeah, why are you still filming? You should just put the camera down. Unless you are going to have 15 minutes of just having the camera facing a wall or something. That would earn it.
Or you say, well, the only way I can see the monster is through the camera.
Yeah.
But she doesn't appear to be using it for that. She's just running. It's so shit.
Here's a question for you.
Mm.
What did you prefer out of the Friday the 13th franchise and the Paranormal Activity franchise, looking back on them?
Friday the 13th.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that because even though they are terrible films, most of them, they are sort of not as boring?
Yeah. At times they were pretty tedious, and at times they were even offensive.
Yeah.
But I think they're like, looking back on them, they're like more colourful, more enjoyable and interesting. You could do a lot more with the formula of Jason is going around a campsite or wherever he's going around picking off teenagers one by one.
Yeah.
Much more than you can do with this, because this is so boring. Like slasher, there's a slasher going around killing teenagers is a good formula, is a good premise for a movie. We are watching a static room with nothing happening, and it is not a good premise for a movie.
Yeah.
After the first one. The first one was okay.
Yeah. First one's fine.
After that, you can't have a franchise in it. It's ridiculous.
No.
Like I'm thinking at the moment, what's come out lately that is going to have its own franchise like this? You see Hereditary 2?
Well, they're making a Quiet Place sequel, aren't they? I think
It's
with John Krasinski.
Okay, well,
directing.
That makes you think maybe it might be okay, because generally, the problem I have with franchises generally, and this one particularly, is it appears to suffer from what might be called a lostification, right?
Right.
So that's where the original conceit and everything that made it good in terms of storytelling, cinematography, and its general mission are all abandoned when they hire people who don't get it and put them on tight deadlines, make it studioify it, right?
Yeah.
And in Lost it happened. I mean, you and I both read an article written by one of the writers who said after season 2 he stopped writing and tuned in season 5 and was like, well, why is Ben Linus the king of the island or whatever? It's like it's completely missing what they had in mind.
Sure.
And that, I think, is what's happened here.
Yeah.
That Paranormal Activity had no meaningful story, but was still interesting because it was simple and it made use of a tight budget in a very creative way.
Right.
But all of its sequels still lacked a meaningful story despite their best efforts. And I'd say became worse when they started making a story.
Yeah, like the expanding mythology becomes there is nothing to it.
No.
There's nothing interesting about it.
No, exactly. And they become worse because they don't even try to be creative when the paranormal activity starts happening, right? Like, all you can do is change camera angles or change the filter on the lens, but there's nothing really I mean, arguably, this is the most interesting thing they've done in actually making it visible, but then it's boring.
Yeah. I agree. It's I think maybe the most innovative thing out of all 6 films was putting a camera on a rotating fan.
Yeah, no, I agree with it. It's the one we keep coming back to.
Yeah.
Because from a cinematic perspective, it means you can build tension with a camera, which isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, look over here, now look over here. And you're begging it to look the other way, and you're waiting, well, it releases the tension. But you don't get that with a CGI. It was embarrassing, I'd say, that last, when the earthquake starts happening, and all the photo frames and stuff are shaking, but they're done digitally.
Yeah.
It's really...
It looks that way, yeah.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
It's not great, no. Yeah. Well, do you want to do the quiz first?
So having watched all 6 Paranormal Activity films, Chris, you think you know a thing or two about them?
Absolutely, yeah. Everything there is to know about them.
Yep. Let's see how you fare then in my Paranormal Activity quotes quiz.
Great.
So I read the quote, you tell me which film it's from.
Yeah.
Nice
Is it going to be like, yeah?
Well, I could only go with what IMDb had.
Right. So presume your resources were limited.
In places, yes. Question 1. Can I get a kiss on the cheek? The thing is, my cheek is right above my testicles.
Was that from Paranormal Activity, the marked ones?
It was. Yeah.
It's the only one with like vocal male teenage rat boys.
True, correct. It's 1 out of 1.
Yeah.
100% so far. Question 2. I've been doing my research. I'm taking care of this. Nobody comes in my house, fucks with my girlfriend, and gets away with it.
That's Paranormal Activity.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That's the character of Mika.
It was.
That iconic role.
Yeah.
Oh, what a quote.
Remember in Paranormal Activity 2, where he has like a walk-on role, and then he flashes up with a card like 28 days before the death of Mika Sloat.
Yeah.
And it's like never mentioned again. He doesn't have any role in any of the other films.
Great stuff.
Okay, question 3. This isn't Casper the fucking friendly ghost you're chasing, man.
Man. That would be Paranormal Activity 3.
Correct. Have you been rewatching them in
No, I haven't.
anticipation?
It's the guy's edit assistant says it to him, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
You know, I've heard of spirit photography before, but I've never actually seen it in person.
Do the questions include, is it one per film?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, okay. I think this is from Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, and it's the character of Skylar saying it.
Correct.
Yes!
Yeah.
Because she's like she has a little bit of a sort of like hippie-ish vibe, right?
Yeah. And I think she says, what we're seeing on the footage is, what is it?
Like energies from
It's
another
like
dimension.
undiluted energy.
It's offensive.
I was like, what's
offensively
diluted energy look like? Oh. Question 5.
Yeah.
We can't let this affect us that much. If we do that, the terrorists win.
The terrorists win. Ooh. Paranormal Activity 2.
Correct.
Yes.
That was the neckbeard dad.
Right.
I'm sure you remember him.
Yeah.
Question 6.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let it get to us, otherwise the terrorists win.
Is it the same character saying it?
Nope.
So it's a little meta
Yeah.
in-joke. Paranormal Activity 4 is the only one you haven't mentioned?
No, it was Mika who said it in Paranormal Activity 1.
Right.
Question 7. What? Who does not like me?
Paranormal Activity 4?
Yeah. There were 2 quotes. That was one.
Good. Great stuff.
So there you go. Well done. You got
6 out of 7.
Yeah, not bad.
It's not bad, yeah.
You have been paying attention.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So we've finished with Paranormal Activity now, other than this How to Survive chat. But we need a franchise to do next.
Mm.
Do you have any in mind?
Well, I mean, what I would say is email in howtosurviveshow@gmail.com or tweet in @howtosurvivepod. We've had a few suggestions already.
Yeah, someone
Halloween.
suggested Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Is it not even going on the list?
What, Hellraiser?
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, mate, you're
I mean,
ringing the bell for it right now.
No, I'm being fair on. It's a democratic process.
Hellraiser, Halloween, Hannibal.
Yeah.
All the H's.
Yeah.
Hammer Horror. That
Yeah.
was another suggestion, I think.
That's not really a franchise so much as
it's
genre.
or era. I think someone suggested the Asylum movies, like those really bad, like Piranha Quake or whatever they're called. Like Sharknado,
Right,
all those
okay.
sorts of ones.
Yeah.
Evil Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
Yeah.
Email in and we'll collate all of your suggestions. And
You've got 10 weeks to get your suggestions in.
Yeah, we'll come to a decision. HowToSurviveShow@gmail.com, tweet @HowToSurvivePod. So, Joe, it's been 6 films.
Yes.
And we've learnt a lot.
Yeah.
But what do we really know about the midwives? Because it's crucial that we establish a few things before we talk about how to survive.
Yeah. What do we know? Please tell me.
Well, number one, as this film shows, they have infiltrated the real estate world.
Yeah. And not for the first time.
No. I noticed that they're not in this film, really. So they appear to be working remotely.
Yeah.
Working from home, perhaps.
Working from 1992.
Yeah, they don't really need to directly influence things as they have in previous sequels, right? Like, they're always rocking up in their cloaks and screeching and running at people with knives and stuff.
With big eyes.
Don't need to this time. It's all been taken care of by Toby. They can open portals in time or manipulate capable people into doing it, into opening portals. And obviously we learned, I can't even remember when it was, but Christy and Katie's ancestors made a pact with Toby in exchange for wealth.
Yeah. And it would be the firstborn son who's given up.
Right. And after a few generations, Toby became frustrated
by the lack of firstborn sons.
Yeah. And started causing havoc, right? What I noticed is that there's never any given reason why anyone else is part of the cult.
No.
Like, what is in it for them?
Well, maybe it's like they want the wealth as well.
What you think they share it around or something?
I don't know.
They don't look like, they're not wearing like Louis Vuitton.
No.
Or anything like that, are they?
No, but then is that wealth, or is wealth like the power of knowledge or whatever?
Right. Okay. So you think maybe it's like a, yeah.
Would you rather, put it this way, would you rather have a Louis Vuitton handbag or would you rather be able to like fly?
Are those my only 2 options?
Yeah. Well,
but Joe, it's not just the midwives, is it,
No.
that we have to contend with? We have to contend with Toby. And I went on the villains Wikipedia.
Okay.
It's a whole wikia.
Yeah. Would you say at the end there was a bit of a Toby carvery going on?
Nice. It's more of a throttling, unfortunately. Toby, as we learn in this film, is one of the 7 princes of hell. And Hunter and Leela were 2 children born of the same moon, the same date, but years apart. And they are to be used in a ritual to try and give Toby a physical form, which is what he craves.
Okay.
Toby's powers include, according to the Villains Wikia, include demon physiology, non-corporeal body, teleportation, superhuman strength, telekinesis, possession, ESP.
Extrasensory perception.
Yeah, I don't know what senses demons have normally. Invisibility and time travel.
Okay.
He can appear as invisible to the naked eye, He can appear as a sort of smoke being picked up by special cameras that, I don't know if you caught this, but basically normal cameras, Joe, they have like 3 or 4 tubes in them.
Yeah.
Cathode
This has got a few
cathode ray
more.
tubes.
Yeah.
This has 6. Right? Some more tubes, right, equals more things picked up, because that's how cameras work.
Yeah. You work in video. Have you ever tried sticking a few more cathode ray
Well,
tubes
unfortunately, they're no longer in circulation.
CRTs aren't used anymore.
Yeah, maybe this is why. It's just the technology is too dangerous. And he can appear as a human, which appears to be his desired goal. Here's a question for you, or something to ponder on at least. I'm not really sure what he's working towards, because at the time of the film's modern day sections, right? He's been around in corporeal form for like the best part of 19 years, right? And
corporeal means body form, so he's had a body.
yeah, so because he gets his body in 1992,
Right.
so by the time
it's a grandfather paradox, isn't it?
so 2013 rolls around, he's had like 19 years
Yeah, but he also
to wreak havoc.
But he also still hasn't been born yet, because
But if it's like a Back to the Future or a Primer style time loop thing, right?
Yeah.
He does exist in 1992 in all timelines, right?
Yes.
Because it's a predestination paradox. So what has he been doing for 19 years? Or is the modern world the result of Toby's influence?
Right. So he got born and was like, you know what we need? A
The internet.
huge crash in Wall Street.
Yeah.
We need
What, like 15 years after?
Yeah, he was like, well, it doesn't happen overnight, does it? He's got to have terrible trade agreements put in place.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Get the right people in the right places.
Yeah.
Well, with all that said, Joe, for the last time in relation to the Paranormal Activity franchise, how would you survive?
Well, you've gone through a house buying process in your life.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently going through it.
Yeah, I've done the same.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you do before you buy?
Would that be conduct searches and surveys when you buy a house?
Correct.
Right. Well, tick that off. This is on my list as well. It's pretty rare that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good.
Yeah. There's no way there's no way you'd buy it thinking that it was a new build when all the other houses on the road clearly aren't new builds.
Right. I as you alluded to,
Yeah.
I'm currently going through a purchase process.
Yes.
Right. The amount of information that you get sent in the searches, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I know what type of soil my property to be is built on.
Yeah, the castle,
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, how to survive very well, thank you very much.
What soil the moat is constructed from. I know whether or not the area is at risk from radon gas. I know like the year it was built, converted, planning
risk.
permission. I know that there's no motorways scheduled to be built through the area in which I'm buying. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it is exhaustive.
Yeah.
The level of detail that
Japanese
you
knotweed risk.
Right.
Is that
No,
in there?
apparently not.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Which is good.
What type of, What type of soil does it have in its
Well, it's London, so it's clay.
Okay.
Which puts it a little bit of a risk of subsidence, but as I understand it, basically all of London is at risk for subsidence because it's built on the same ground.
Well, there you go.
So
you've had the searches done.
Yeah. I presume you had the same when you bought your house.
Yeah, flood risk is when I can remember.
Right, yeah.
Fairly near a river,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, the risk of the river breaking its banks are quite low, I'd say.
I'm on a hill, so if my flat floods, which is on the first floor of the property, but there is trouble.
Yeah.
Like, things have gone badly wrong.
Yeah. Like the day after tomorrow sort of thing.
Yeah, Waterworld style.
Yeah. I think, what year was it built?
I think like 30s.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
30s, yeah.
Yeah.
You know that. You know that because you had surveys.
Right,
done.
yeah, exactly.
And the title deed probably has it on. Things like that.
Like, I presume they didn't buy it in cash, so solicitors would have been involved.
Yeah.
Estate agents would have been involved. I mean, presumably they had an estate agent like helping them, maybe engineering the sale or whatever.
Yeah.
So someone would have been in contact with Katie going, this is really weird because like I phoned her office, but
Yeah.
she's never there. No one's ever heard of her. Her email address isn't related to the company that she says that she works for.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
She's refused to be cast in the film.
Yeah. Yeah. Katie Featherston was unavailable.
Yeah.
Because she was so busy with all of her other acting roles.
Catty.
Oh.
But yeah,
Good.
I mean, you'd found out, like, at best, you'd find out that it wasn't built when they said it was built. And then
Right.
you'd have a few questions to ask, like, what's it built? Like, can we look in the garden?
Yeah. No. Not allowed.
Yeah. Any portals
Don't look
in the
under
bedrooms?
that. Yeah, don't look under that bush over there on those concrete slabs, whatever you do.
Oh,
Any
God.
further ideas?
Why did it burn down?
Well, I presume it's the aftermath of Toby arriving, is it?
Being born.
Yeah, because it burned down in 1992. That's when Toby arrived. Not really made very clear, is it?
Oh, that's a good point, though. You've explained it pretty well.
They could have had him setting fire to it.
Yeah.
And that would have like rounded it off.
Yes. It would have. They didn't do that.
No.
Next point for me is a fairly straightforward one for life in general, I think, especially when you've got kids involved. Don't make friends with strangers.
Okay.
Or don't talk to strangers, I guess. I was under the impression that Toby was a child. This is before seeing the film.
Right.
You may have remember seeing him in Paranormal Activity 5 or 4 when he was shown in silhouette form in the Xbox Kinect lasers.
Yeah.
He was a child then.
Is that true?
I believe so.
Okay.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think he was a child.
Well, I remember in Paranormal Activity 3, because they show the footage here as well, when there's an earthquake and dust falls,
Yeah.
it falls over the shape of like an adult person.
Maybe he can change.
Maybe, yeah. Well, let's recap his powers.
Yeah.
Demon physiology, non-corporeal body. I mean, he could probably just, do whatever. Maybe it's one of his extrasensory abilities.
Maybe. So I was under the impression that Toby was a child and you needed Hunter to turn into a human child because they were roughly the same size, same age sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
That's
so
what
like
I
a possession.
thought. Which would also explain why will these children treat him as a friend? Like my friend Toby, who is another child, right?
Yeah.
And they talk to him like, oh no, he's fine. I play with him all the time.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't, a child wouldn't normally play with an adult in that way. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, children are fairly likely to be friends with other children. At a push, they might be friends with a charming adult, right? So what you mentioned earlier was the creepy guy in the video.
Right.
Who wasn't their friend so much as like hypnotizing them.
Yeah.
Right? But like say, the one that came to mind when writing this How to Survive tip was Con Air.
Okay.
When Steve Buscemi was in his only cast in a child molester role.
Yeah.
That a bit typecast maybe.
Yeah.
There's a scene with him having a tea party with a child he's earned the trust of through nefarious means probably.
God, I forgot about that.
Horrible.
And it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not exactly that it's played for laughs as much as like, does he sort of redeem himself by not raping a child at the end?
I can't remember, mate. I think there's like a threat, like they need to get him in time.
No, but he's not the big bad. He's just like he's like the wacky Steve Buscemi extra person on the, making wisecracks character.
Who just loves children too much. Weird.
Wow. Forgot about that entirely. I'd managed to push that out of my mind.
Next week, Con Air. My point being, it's an exception to the rule when a complete stranger who is a man is able to make friends with children, especially in the dead of night in their own bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'd say they're particularly unlikely to be friends with a spouting jet of oil. Would you?
Yeah, because they can see him, right?
Yeah, so they can see what I described in a text to you as a silhouette of Groot.
Yeah, because it would make sense if they can see something that we can't.
Yeah,
but it's just like a friendly person or something.
Yeah, like a child.
But it's like a constantly pouring portal of black ooze.
Yeah,
it takes on an altogether different character, doesn't it?
So the spouting jet of oil must be saying, "Oh, do you want to play with me?" I said, "Yeah, sounds
absolutely.
great. Yeah, we
you
have
look
tea
like
party?
a cuddly fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's play Bloody Mary. Oh, I didn't know Bloody Mary. What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's where you stand in the mirror, and if you say Bloody Mary 3 times, a witch will appear. Or is
Yeah.
a witch like another spouting jet of oil? No, I'm the only spouting jet of oil.
Yeah, make sure you say Eram Edouble.
Yeah. Because that's like Bloody Mary
Edouble.
backwards.
Yeah,
Do it backwards because then
that's extra creepy. That's why.
my point is do not make friends with spouting jets of oil. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? On a sort of fundamental basis.
Yes.
My second point, they have the videotapes. They
Yeah.
watch them back.
Yep.
Presumably, they see all of the black oil monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, there's never a scene of them watching them
Do you know why?
and
Do you know why?
freaking out. Why?
Because they were put in post
Right.
after all this was done.
But the fact remains that within the canon of the film,
Yeah.
they should be watching those tapes back and like freaking the
Yeah.
fuck out, right? For whatever reason, this is the one bit that they don't film, but instead they film like, oh, look, it looks like she's talking to an invisible man, right?
Yeah.
Just the moment you see a black
jet of oil,
yeah,
yeah.
coming out of the ceiling, go straight to the newspapers, go to police,
Yeah.
whoever, right? Just go make a gigantic fuss about it.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because I mean, traditionally, it's the police won't believe you, but you have now got video proof because you've got the 3 extra cathode ray tubes.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
in the
Yeah,
camera.
that ticks their box, the evidence box. Yeah,
Yeah, and for some reason, Toby and his minions wanted you to have that.
yeah,
They left it there for you, so you can see them
yeah.
because they were in the bag of videotapes.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I know it's a bit mealy mouthed.
Why did they have a VCR to watch their dad's porn?
Yeah.
Do you know why they want to watch that?
Why?
Because there's a video of a man wrapping his bollocks in leather. Apparently, that's what he says in the film.
I'm surprised that didn't come up in your quotes quiz.
If I said to you, "Oh, I've got a box of pornography your dad watched,"
Yeah,
would you be like, "I need to go out and buy a VCR to see this," or would you be like, "Why do you have that?"
yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah, I'm struggling to imagine what sort of porn either of our dads would watch.
Yeah, and especially to the point where I'm like, I want to see this.
Yeah.
I want to make time in my life for this.
No. Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to find it, like, let's say for argument's sake, you were like, modern day would be like looking at browsing history, but let's say wherever these kids grew up in the 80s, go through a sock drawer or something,
Yeah.
and you go, oh, fucking hell, this is weird. But you wouldn't be like, oh, I have to
Yeah.
create a space in my house
I have to watch
have
this.
this at any time I want.
Yeah. It's an odd compulsion to have.
He's built an entire area of his house around that.
I think that's an exaggeration.
He's got a VCR player specifically for it.
No, and you wouldn't say that's an entire area of his house.
He must have had to get a TV for it. My TV doesn't have a SCART cable
I'm sure
anymore.
it does.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Check it.
Yeah.
Report back on next week's How Does It Vibe. Any final thoughts from you?
Other than just leave your dad's porn where it is.
Yeah.
No, that's it for me.
My final one. If you're a cult and you've gone to the effort of rebuilding a new house with a portal to another dimension,
Yeah.
where the old house burned down, the least you could do when you're trying to cover up the history of the property is to get rid of the concrete slab that has the names and year of the 2 girls who lived there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks very much. That was episode 150 of How to Survive. I've been Chris. Joining me as ever is Joe. Thank you very much to anyone who's listened to all 150 episodes. We enjoy it still, despite the rubbish films every so often.
Yeah.
You know, it's
And
worth it for the odd gem.
We've had quite a good run lately because there's been periods of it in the 150 occasion you get a run of like 4 movies where it's like,
Yeah.
why are we doing this?
Dark days, indeed.
Yeah. But
yeah.
now
Yeah.
we're, as we mentioned, we're buying castles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drink
You've
it,
got
just
yeah.
bathing in champagne.
A cinema room
Yeah.
for your dad's pornography.
Exactly, yeah. Complete with a VCR
Yeah.
in perfect working order.
It's good. I'm enjoying it. Good to have you along.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got some news for you. You've been sacked.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can email in howtosurviveshow@gmail.com or tweet in @howtosurvivepod. Joe, I believe you've got some correspondence.
Yeah, absolutely. Email here from Mark.
Mhm.
Hey guys, I'd like to say first how much I love your podcast after I discovered it through the Saw Marathon on YouTube. Of course, we did a Saw Marathon not long ago. I mean, quite a while, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Where we watched all the Saw movies back to back.
Yeah.
On video, chained to a wall.
On video.
VHS, which was good. So he obviously found it through that.
Yeah.
I'd like to suggest one of my personal favourite horror movies for an episode, the 1981 The Funhouse by Toby Hooper. I'm sure you guys would have a blast covering this film, and it would make for a great episode. Keep up the great work, mates. Thanks, Mark.
So what was that again?
The Funhouse by Toby Hooper.
Okay, I've not heard of it.
No.
We've covered a couple of Toby Hooper
Yes. With
movies.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Steven Spielberg directed, written, and produced Poltergeist.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe we'll stick another Toby in there.
Yeah, we do love a Toby on this podcast.
Yeah. Very fitting.
Yeah. Next email comes from Matthew. It says, to start off with, I think you guys are rad. Thanks, mate. Anyway, do you guys plan on doing a How to Survive Jurassic Park The Lost World or one on What We Do in the Shadows, even though neither of them are really horror movies? Well, on the basis of Lost World, let's approach them one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Lost World, what do you think?
Maybe. We've done 3 of the 5 Jurassic films now, haven't we? I'm sure we'll get round to the Lost World in Jurassic
It's not
3.
impossible. It's probably the one remaining one that we'd want to do. I don't think there's any love for 3.
Yeah, we'll get to it eventually, and it will be 15 million podcasts in the making.
Yeah. And What We Do in the Shadows, the horror comedy.
Yeah, it might be a little bit far, I guess, but then again, maybe, we like to do little branched out seasons, don't we?
Yes.
Not too long ago, it was Shape season.
Yeah,
so
yeah, who could
horror
forget?
comedy season,
Because we've had Shaun of the Dead suggested in the past as well,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we've never
so-
covered. Never had a warrant to do, but now we do. So look forward to that then. We'll
Yeah.
have What We Do in the Shadows, Shaun of the Dead coming to a podcatcher near you in the next 150 weeks.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thanks again for listening. If you've enjoyed what you've heard over these last 150 hours of entertainment, then please leave us a review on iTunes. 5-star review really helps us find extra listeners, which of course will keep us in champagne and caviar.
Yes. Do
for
you know
the
what else
foreseeable future?
helps us find extra listeners?
What?
People telling their friends to listen.
Yeah. If you know any small girls or cult leaders or witches, then please let them know about How to Survive.
If you're able to go through a time portal to the day when Podtunes, to the day when
Podtunes, yeah. Yeah,
It's the day-
Podtunes was invented.
the day when iTunes first went online,
Yeah.
and you could upload our entire back catalogue that day,
Yeah.
I think you'll be doing us a big favour.
Yes. So thanks in advance and also in the past for that.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening. Next week is the Netflix released, Netflix distributed film from earlier this year, Cargo.
Yes. Australian produced.
Yeah.
And written and directed.
Starring Martin Freeman.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Do
It's
watch it.
on Netflix. I don't want to say anything about it. So just go watch it. And
Yes.
we will see you next week for that on the Outback. And until then, remember...
What? Who? Who does not like me?
It's even worse than I remembered.